alleging that a long VIP rope is being extended to this Shiv Sena corporator. We'll break down that for you. And of course, a breakthrough in diabetes. Yesterday we spoke about artificial pancreas. Today we're talking about a treatment that could change millions of lives. Once a week insulin shot. And finally, before we wrap this entire edition up, India's next tennis sensation has announced himself at the Wimbledon. You're watching In Your Interest with me, Kabir Naqvi. First, the top headlines on your screen. US strike hits a railway bridge in northern Iran used on trade routes linked to China and Russia. Reports claim the United States fired cruise missiles at this particular target. Anti-Trump posters seen at Ayatollah Khamenei's burial processions as Iran prepares to bury the slain supreme leader after a mass funeral procession attended by millions across Iran and Iraq. Censor board clears Vijay's Jananayagan. Film gets an A certification almost 7 months after the film's original release date. Meanwhile, it's another jolt to Mamata Banerjee. 3 former members of parliament, Sushmita Dev, Sukhendu Shekhar and Prakashchik Baraik, joined the BJP in Kolkata just weeks after resigning from the Trinamool Congress amid growing rebellion within the party. Mumbai gets a little bit of a monsoon breather as the IMD issues no rain alert for the next 5 days. Light to moderate rainfall is likely, however, over the weekend. It's another monsoon, and it's another season when our cities just simply stop working. From Delhi to Ghaziabad, from Mumbai to Surat, from Noida to Maharashtra. Just look at your screens here, ladies and gentlemen. Delhi's highways have turned into rivers, traffic stretching for kilometers. Let's say on the Delhi-Meerut Expressway, commuters trapped for hours in a complete standstill gridlock with absolutely nowhere to go, and we're talking about kilometers long traffic. Look at some of those shots. And then in Ghaziabad, an entire road simply gave way. A moving car and a two-wheeler disappearing into a crater after the surface collapsed right beneath them. Shift your focus for a little bit. In Greater Noida, the ground beneath a mall that was under construction, it pretty much sank and it brought down the entire boundary wall with it. Then across Noida, Burari, I mean the visuals speak for themselves. And Indrapuram, roads have disappeared. This is under murky floodwaters, leaving the office goers having to wade through knee-deep and waist-deep waters just to get to their office or sometimes get back home. And then came perhaps the most unbelievable visual of the entire day. Thousands of LPG cylinders taking a swim, floating away in Maharashtra's Patal Ganga river, just like toys being swept away by a raging current. People started picking those empty cylinders up on their automobiles and some two-wheelers before the police had to really intervene. But then, away from this picture of all these cylinders that are floating away, take a look at that. These are our urban cities, urban infrastructure. In Surat, look at the visuals on your screens, entire textile markets, and we're talking about worth crores of rupees have submerged, with traders watching months of business drown right before their eyes. Mind you, Raksha Bandhan right around the corner as well. And you see, trees have been uprooted, vehicles left crushed, Cloudburst like rain shutting down highways, and this is the national capital. If it were the coastal region, story would have been a little different. Water logging has brought entire cities to a halt, one after the other. And the uncomfortable truth is, none of these visuals, they shock us anymore. Because we've seen them before. We waded through the knee-deep and the waist-deep water before. Every monsoon, the same flooding, the same gridlock, the same civic apathy and collapse. The only thing that changes is the name of the city, and this time around, it's the better AQI. You've got better AQI. So go out and breathe that clean air if you can, if you're willing to take a swim whilst you're doing that as well. And yes, the rain has been relentless. The IMD has issued alerts. Low pressure systems, they are active. We learn about them every come monsoon season. News headlines saying, low pressure systems, what are they? Check here, read more. Cloudbursts are becoming more and more frequent. But that's not the question. The question is, should a few hours of rainfall be enough to paralyze India's biggest cities? The Delhi NCR, Gurugram, Noida, Delhi, Maharashtra, Surat, the big export capitals. Should one night of rain be enough to expose our roads, the drainage systems, cars simply falling into those craters, and the public infrastructure collapsing? Or are we confusing a natural event with a man-made failure? And why I'm saying this is because experts say this isn't simply about weather anymore. Our cities have expanded rapidly, wetlands have disappeared, we've heavily built on top of them, natural drainage channels, they've been built over, concrete has replaced the open ground, stormwater drains were designed decades ago, they can't stand the rain in today's time. For a climate that no longer exists, the design for that climate exists. And when intense rainfall arrives, cities simply have nowhere for the water to go. Take a look at some of these details that we have for you. The numbers are staggering as well. Floods account for nearly 2/3 of India's disaster-related economic losses. The country loses tens of thousands of crores every single year, 61,000 crore rupees and on the upwards of that amount just because of urban flooding. Scientists are warning that extreme rainfall events are becoming more and more frequent. Yet every monsoon, it's the same roads, the same floods, the same junctions that choke up, the same underpasses that disappear underwater, murky, floody water rather, and the same promises that are repeated by the civic authorities. So tonight, it's not going to be just a simple conversation about, oh my God, it rained relentlessly last night. This is a conversation about planning, about governance, about accountability, about whether our cities are actually prepared for the climate of tomorrow. We were speaking about El Nino, and it seems like the entire monsoon setup has gone El Loco because taxpayers spend thousands of crores on roads, on drainage, or on urban development. So why does one spell of rain continue to bring entire cities to their knees? Is climate change exposing weaknesses we have ignored for decades, or is this simply the cost of poor planning, poor maintenance, and poor execution? Can Indian cities ever become truly monsoon ready, and who should ultimately be held accountable when every rainy season becomes an urban disaster? Let's open this up for more discussion on this. Professor P.S.N. Rao, town planner, Dean, Delhi School of Planning, with us on the broadcast. Professor Bijon Misra, consumer affairs expert, with us also on the broadcast. Soon, social activist Ritu Mundra is going to be with us as well. You see, Professor Rao, let me quickly get the snowball rolling here. Every year we blame the rain. I'm sure you witnessed this yourselves in your vicinity. Is the real problem actually poor planning, or is the climate just a new ballgame that we're just not prepared for? Indian cities, have we simply outgrown the infrastructure that was designed decades ago? And is there any room for change here?
Well, actually, it's a combination of all these. But in addition to that, I would also like to add poor governance and management. It's not so difficult to really plan out things, but then you need to implement the plans.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part of Indian cities is that at least 40% of Indian cities are unplanned. You have illegal land subdivisions, you have unauthorized colonies where there's no semblance of planning, there's no drainage, there's no infrastructure, there's nothing of that sort. That is point number one. Point number two is that even where there is some amount of planning, unfortunately, we have densified those areas. There is a lot of redevelopment that is happening, and we are increasing the built-up in those areas which were planned some time back. So the density is increasing and the stress there is increasing. So when you combine both of these to poor quality of implementation of the road infrastructure, of the sewer infrastructure, and what have you, then management capabilities. Now, the problem is there is no one person who is in charge of the city. You have a plethora of organizations, and everybody does his own job in his own little silo, and the other person doesn't know what's happening. So somebody lays the road, and very soon as the road is laid, somebody else starts digging up, and then it's a complete mess. So we are not while we are doing some amount of planning, which is actually very, very minimal, we are not managing. So therefore, it's a combination of all these factors. And actually, we're just not bothered. I mean, this has been happening again and again and again. And after maybe a week or so...
So, Professor Rao, you're saying that this is not just about civic apathy, this is also about social apathy. And I said it right in the intro as well. It doesn't shock us anymore. We're prepared for something like this. I mean, we're given a run for our money when we cough up the taxpayer amount, but we don't get anything in return. In the name of mere upgrades, the same junctions get choked again and again. But you're saying that this is also because we have a lackadaisical approach as a society as a whole.
Absolutely, because nobody seems to care any longer, because these visuals are going to be there for a couple of days, and then after that, it's business as usual. Yeah. So that's the unfortunate part. If you look at any sector, whether it is textiles, whether it is telecommunication, whether it is machinery, whether it is engineering, we've made progress virtually everywhere, except perhaps in city management or in city planning. Why is it so? Okay. It is very funny. I mean, you can land people on the moon and Mars and what have you, but then putting simple things together in a city, we are not doing it. It's not because we are not capable of doing it, but then probably we just don't have it on our priority list.
Well, we have many of those ISRO fans outside as well. You're absolutely right. We have been able to do what many other countries haven't been able to do. Just like landing on the far side of the moon and whatnot, and that entire list that you told us. Professor Misra, what's your take here? Every year, crores of rupees are spent on desilting drains, on flood preparedness. When the Delhi elections were right around the corner, you remember what was happening on all the ghats. You're a prominent voice when it comes to Maharashtra and what's happening in Mumbai. Why do the same locations flood again and again? Is it, like Professor Rao is telling us, boiling out to only one point, that the mistake is ours as a society?
You see, we must accept the fact that inefficiency has got institutionalized in our country, where there is nothing called accountability. People can do whatever they feel like. And as I heard one of my co-panel members saying that they do planning, I have not seen. I mean, 40% planning. I come from a city called Jamshedpur. That is where I saw how Tata's plan a township. People should go and learn from there. How they plan the township, how they make sure that nobody goes even 1 inch encroachment and things like that. But in other cities, when I came to Delhi from Jamshedpur, now I'm in Hyderabad, I can see that, people can construct anything they feel like. They get away. They get away encroaching the roads. They get away encroaching their neighbors' property. They get away encroaching anywhere what they feel like, and nothing happens. So what I can only say that these kind of catastrophes happen only because there is total lack of transparency and accountability on people who go and you will find all the plans are approved, all the constructions are approved, duly approved, paid for, registered, and duly accepted by the town planner. How does that happen? I don't know. I only know that it has got institutionalized. I know only that, we know that if there is a heavy rainfall, there will be floods. We know that, roads will collapse. We know that the road will have potholes. We are all used to it.
You're raising very credible points here, Professor Misra. I'm just trying to understand that, I mean, if I were to believe what Professor Rao and what you're telling us right now, that, the entire society is sleeping on all of these issues at the moment, and this is why we're letting the administration and the authorities walk all over us. Look at the economical situation that the entire multitude is going through right now. Does one even have time to think about all of this? And when an entire road caves in, a car falls inside, we're talking about subsidence in Joshimath. I mean, okay, you can understand, you can back that up with scientific data and, ecological drainage. But in Delhi NCR, something like that happening, is it fair to put the entire burden on the society also, sir?
Kabir, just a quick response. You see, what I want to tell you, Kabir, is that even if a citizen, who is aware, who wants to pick up these causes on behalf of the citizens, you can't imagine the amount of resistance he has to face. If he even wants to go and do a public interest litigation to seek justice in terms of compensation for the car, collapsing on a footpath, which is a identified parking area, I mean, he would have to engage into a heavy expenditure to seek justice. Now, which citizen has got the resources to do that? So it is the duty of the government.
I understand. And Professor, I'll take that question. Let me quickly introduce our third panelist, Ritu Mundra ji, social activist, is with us on the broadcast. I'm going to come to you in just a second, ma'am. Please hold on. You see, Professor Rao, would you like to answer that question, considering, you from a town planner perspective, Dean, Delhi School of Planning, when Professor Misra here is saying that, the administrations and the authorities, they know that the multitude out there, the local population is sleeping on all of these issues. Is that something that has been exploited, in the face of these mayor upgrades, thousands of crores of rupees that are being coughed up as taxpayer money, but nothing really happens per se? I mean, purely from a town planner perspective here, Professor.
See, I think we need to understand a couple of things here. I have to get into the semantics of it. See, what is planning is something that is misunderstood by many people. You make a plan, but after you make a plan, you need to execute the plan. So, unlike a highly specialized surgeon who performs the operation himself, in the case of urban planning, there are a series of contractors and construction workers and so on who need to do the implementation, if at all the plan is implemented. In most of the situations, firstly, the planning within the plot is done. The planning of the commons is not done. This is a very fine point which probably many people are not aware of. Point number one. Point number two is that quality control is absolutely conspicuous by its absence. You will see the very recent expressway that was inaugurated from Delhi to Dehradun.
You're right.
It was much touted. But then even there you have seen this kind of subsidence. Almost everywhere we are seeing it. So where is the quality? Where is the quality control? Who is doing all those checks? So this is very unfortunate that in the construction industry today, particularly in the government sector, not so much in the private sector. In the government sector, there is so much of corruption and there is no quality control, there is no quality check. And that is why you see that crores have been spent on a road and then one rainfall and then the whole thing subsides. It means that the standards have not been followed. The systems of doing a road have not been followed. It's very
Can
clear.
this
Otherwise,
change,
it would not
Professor?
have-
Can this truly change? Can cities realistically prepare for these events? Let's say,
course,
things go
the
right and
entire
next monsoon,
ecosystem-
do you think we'll be in a better position?
Yeah, next monsoon is too early because these things can't happen so quickly overnight. You need to change the entire ecosystem. There are these public works departments and so on, which are hundreds of years old, still following the age-old systems and practices, which are, of course, very much eroded over time. And then many of these organizations are actually understaffed. There are many states in this country, you may not be aware, there is a Niti Aayog report which tells you that there are hardly any urban planners in this country. Most states don't have these urban planners. So there are engineers and there are other people who are not educated, not trained. They are the people who are actually managing this. The highly qualified professionals are just not there in these government departments. That is the other part of the story. So there are many dimensions to this. It's not that we cannot change it. There has to be a political will. And I'm sure that this country has...
And that will is lacking. That will
capacity.
is clearly lacking. both the professors here. Many thanks, because you've really opened our eyes to this particular aspect. We still have some time left. I still have a couple of questions for the professors, but let me, humor the social activists with us also on the broadcast. Mundra ji, madam, what do you think? क्या लोग आवाज नहीं उठा रहे हैं इस समय ज़्यादा? Climate change ही इसका रीजन है क्या सबसे बड़ा? फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ क्लाउड बर्स्ट की बात कर ली जाए, शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन इंटेंस रेनफॉल की अगर बात कर ली जाए, क्या यही रीजन है? या फिर जैसे कि प्रोफेसर हम लोग को बता रहे हैं, पीपल आर जस्ट नॉट रेजिंग देयर वॉइस इनफ?
नहीं सर, ये सब रीजन तो है, स्टिल देयर, ऑलवेज बी स्टिल देयर, हमेशा ही रहेंगे, जो कभी कंप्लीट खत्म नहीं हो सकते, फिनिश नहीं हो सकते, क्योंकि कभी भी, क्योंकि हमारी क्लाइमेट इतना चेंज हो रहा है, वेदर इतने चेंज हो रहे हैं, तो कभी भी कहीं पर भी बादल फट जाता है या कुछ और हो जाता है। लेकिन उसके अंदर हमारी सरकारें सो रही हैं, हमारे पॉलिटिशियंस सो रहे हैं, हमारी रोड पर डेली हर मतलब मंथ में हमारी रोड्स टूटती हैं क्योंकि ड्रेनेज सिस्टम प्रॉपर नहीं है,
नालियां भी ओवरफ्लो हो रही हैं, सड़कें धंस जाती हैं। मैडम, जनता भी तो सो रही है।
नहीं, जनता सो रही है वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन हम जो टैक्स दे रहे हैं एटलीस्ट उसका प्रॉपर यूज तो होना चाहिए। उसका यूज ही नहीं हो रहा, क्योंकि ड्रेनेज सिस्टम ही जब प्रॉपर नहीं बनाए जाएंगे, कहीं ड्रेनेज ही नहीं है। वो ड्रेनेज के लिए पूरे मतलब अराउंड मैं आपको बता सकती हूँ, मेरी जहाँ मैं रहती हूँ 6 मंथ से पूरा का पूरा हमारा इंदिरापुरम उन लोगों ने तोड़ के रखा हुआ है। कभी कहीं पर खुदाई हो रही है, कभी कहीं पर खुदाई हो रही है, और उसको बनाने में महीनों, कोई मिनिस्टर अगर हमारे एरिया में आने वाले होते, वो रातों रात सड़क बन जाती है, अगले दिन सुबह वो वहां पर दिखते, कल रात को जो खड्डा था वो तो खड्डा भर चुका। अब उसका सोचिए कि वो इतनी जल्दी जो सड़क बनाई जा रही है उसका मटेरियल क्या यूज हो रहा है। जब तक प्रॉपर मटेरियल यूज ठीक से नहीं होगा, इतना घटिया मटेरियल यूज हो रहा है कि वो सड़कें एक बारिश की पूरी नहीं होती, वो टूट जाती हैं। हर साल यही चलता है कि नेक्स्ट ईयर बारिश आने से पहले हम सारा सिस्टम ठीक कर देंगे, लेकिन सोई हुई है सरकारें, देख ही नहीं रहे हैं कि क्या हमारा जो प्रोडक्ट क्वालिटी क्या यूज कर रहे रोड्स बनाने में, क्यों नहीं उनका क्वालिटी चेक हो रहा, क्योंकि प्रॉपर उसके अंदर सैनिटाइजेशन हो, प्रॉपर क्यों नहीं देखा जा रहा उसको कि प्रॉपर उसके अंदर ड्रेनेज सिस्टम होना चाहिए। रोड्स बन रही है तो ड्रेनेज सिस्टम का तो पहले उसके अंदर प्लान बनना चाहिए। कहीं भी सोसाइटी आप अर्बन जब इतना वो बढ़ रहा है, हमारे देश के अंदर इतना एम्प्लॉयमेंट हो रहा है, हर जगह सोसाइटीज नहीं आ रही हैं, हर जगह पेड़ कट रहे हैं, सब कुछ हो रहा है। ये भी तो क्लाइमेट।
We hear you, Mundra ji. I personally feel that urbanization has gone and grown at such a rapid pace, and with that, I think the waste management hasn't been able to keep its pace at that same level. Professor Misra, you see, different agencies, just like Professor Rao was speaking in his opening submission, different agencies, they're handling roads, different agencies handling the drainage system, different agency is handling the sewage, and we have very little planners, just like it's been pointed out. This poor coordination, I think this is also one of those real prime factors. It's one of our biggest urban challenges. The population continues to grow, commercialization continues to grow, markets and malls will come up, but drainage system and all these different agencies, you won't hear the name of them.
See, Kabir, you must appreciate that whenever you do any kind of a work, it is done for the benefit of the citizens and the city. And there is very little engagement with the citizens in our country. You see, like when you are building a road, you have to engage with those neighborhood people, that how it is being done. And it is the most surprising thing is the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. It is surprising. How do you do that? You see, my contention is I always tell the government when I sit in any kind of a meeting, I always tell them that you are asking for more manpower. Have you ever done an audit of the people who are already supposed to be doing certain work? How much of productivity they are doing? Have you ever done that? Let's understand that. Are you utilizing the manpower in a manner you need to utilize? At least the people who are already there. You are not utilizing the manpower which is already there, and you are asking for more and more. For what? For what? Just because the citizens have no say and they're being taxed in a manner that whatever you say, we give. With a smiling face, we give it. But then where do we land? We land up with floods in our house. We land up with, all kinds of broken roads. We land up with accidents. We land up even dying. Now, who is supposed to be compensating for that? Not a single head's roll, because all the contractors have got paid fully. They've got paid fully. Whether it is quality compromise or whether it is design compromise, then who is supposed to check that? The citizens don't have that kind of a capacity or resources to go and check on this.
And the citizens are coughing up that money because they don't want to be bothered about it. I mean, how many times you pay a maintenance fee for something just because you don't want to be bothered about it?
If I am giving 1 rupee to you, I need accountability to that. I need transparency to that. And if you don't do it, then you should lose your job. That's all simple. You should be chucked out. You should be thrown out, not a single head's roll. When such a catastrophe happens.
That trend, my apologies, Professor Misra, that trend, and we've been seeing across all sectors, that trend of if there is no accountability, please, get ousted from that position. That trend is dissipating. I hate to break it to you. We've seen it across the education sector. We've seen it across the management sector. We've seen it across, pretty much every other sector. Professor Rao, my concluding question to you would be, that if you had to redesign one thing immediately, let's say, what would it be? The drainage? Would it be the roads? Would it be the zoning, the construction approvals? Again, from the, putting on the town planner's hat, what would that one redesigning element be?
There is no one redesigning element. I'm sorry. You have to look at the whole thing in a holistic manner. You can't just say that I just put the drains and then the problem is solved. It just doesn't work that way. Because there are 100 things that you need to set right in the city, and it's only then that...
No, I agree, Professor. I'm just, I mean, if you were to humor me, if there was a domino effect per se, what was that one thing that you'd at least start at?
Sorry for interrupting. Climate is changing, but the professionals in this country, the professionals in this particular sector especially, they're not changing. So with the change in climate, change in modern systems, we also need to change. All the engineers and the planners who are working in the concerned departments, they need to learn new ways of doing things. They need to manage. They need to be accountable. And obviously, when you are paying property tax, whatever taxes that you're paying to the city, the civic agencies are squarely responsible for providing you a good quality service. I mean, we are still stuck up in age-old days where roads are sinking and things are falling apart, flyovers collapsing and all kinds of stuff. So I think we are just nowhere. We are in a complete mess, actually, as you rightly put it. And you need to attack this at several levels in order to set it right. And it's not so simple a task.
Okay. All right. Yes, Professor Misra, very quickly, I need to bring in Mundraji. Yeah.
Quick intervention as a solution. I just want to give.
Okay.
I'm not an architect. I'm not a urban planner. I'm a management person. So I just want to say, create models. Tell people to vacate a place, take them and rehabilitate them somewhere. Build a good housing, a kind of a design and a system. Put everything, together in the right manner, and then go and rehabilitate them back into their houses. You see, what my contention is, if the intent is there, and somewhere I heard the political will needs to be there, that I want to give quality life to the citizens. And as I am an elected representative, an MLA or an MP, I would participate with the government to build those kind of infrastructure. Where is the smart city concept gone? I don't understand that. Where is it, the smart city?
Inside pockets, sir. Smart city is inside various pockets. It's gone inside various pockets. It's full of, very deep pockets. Smart cities has absolutely gone there, right across the length and breadth of the country. That's what's happened to smart cities. It's on big billboards and posters, and that's the shambolic and the horrific and the shameful thing that, buses being taken out, like this, like what we've been seeing in Surat, crores of rupees of, textiles and saris that were, it's so gut-wrenching to see that something like that has happened. And mind you, so many lives have been lost just in the last fortnight alone. Mundraji, my final question to you, before we wrap this up, before I go into a break, देखने वालों के लिए आपका message, because you're a social activist yourself, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जवाबदेही की मांग करें बाहर लोग, उसकी गौर करें, उसके लिए आपका क्या मैसेज है बाकियों के लिए, जल्दी से?
ज्यादा से ज्यादा टैक्स को कहीं ना कहीं हमें ब्रेक कर देना चाहिए. जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए हम लोग अपनी कंट्री के लिए जो टैक्स दे रहे, टैक्स पेयर को शुड स्टॉप टैक्स। अगर हमारे को अच्छी रोड्स, हमारे को प्रॉपर ड्रेनेज सिस्टम नहीं दे सकते तो हम भी आपको टैक्स नहीं दे सकते। यहाँ पर ये जरूर आवाज उठनी चाहिए लोगों की। आप अब बिलीव करेंगे, मेरे हस्बैंड आज ऑफिस नहीं जा पाए इसीलिए क्योंकि इतना पुअर ड्रेनेज सिस्टम के कारण वो घर से बाहर नहीं निकल पा रहे थे।
But I'm sure he's happy about it. I'm sure he's happy about the fact that he couldn't go to office.
Yeah.
Well, all right. You see, the problem is that every year the rain, it becomes a headline. We talk about it. Professor Misra knows. Professor Rao has also come on News9 a couple of times. We talk about it, but the problem is that perhaps we shouldn't be talking about it every year and must get shocked about it every year. Rainfall is not a surprise. Climate scientists have warned us for years that extreme weather events will only become more frequent with global warming. But the question that remains is that why are our cities still so unprepared and what's happening to their tax money? We need better planning, we need stronger infrastructure, a holistic attack, better management models like it's been pointed out, and the citizens really need to speak up. They really need to start, not sleep on this rather. We need to demand greater accountability and prevent much of this chaos. Many thanks, Professor Rao. Many thanks, Professor Mishra. I've completely run out of time here. Mundra ji, bahut shukriya for taking on the time and speaking to us here on News9. We're going to slip into a very short commercial breather. And on the other side, we shift our focus to Maharashtra because protecting our protectors has become a need of the hours. And there is a VIP long rope that has been extended to this Shiv Sena corporator. Let's try and decode that right on the other side.
Meet the tomorrow today. ICFI is the bridge between tomorrow and today. Bridge between aspirations and accomplishment. Bridge between I wish to I can. I will remove the gap. Welcome to the I. I am ICFI. Belief called I can fly above imagination.
Why has Iran stopped the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz?
They want to attack us, they want to target